Many people have varying levels of income at different stages in their life. Generally, it goes up as you get older and gain more experience, but in some cases, people decide to take pay cuts later in their lives, whether that be for less stress, to barista fire, or they get laid off and they can't find a job that replaces their old income. Now, I did not receive a pay rise at my office job in this prior financial year, since, most non-conglomerate businesses aren't exactly financially thriving right now. But there's been some changes in my income despite not receiving a pay rise from the office job. And, well, my total income now equates to $200,000 a year, thanks to two other income streams picking up the slack. And this income could have been achieved by the age of 28 for me. However, it won't actually come into effect until I'm 29. I'm not sure what I'll title the video yet. Maybe I'll use 28 and maybe 29. But this was entirely possible at 28. But it won't be enacted until I'm 29 years old, and I'll elaborate on why in the video. So, a 200k income split across 3 income streams. Do I only have 3 income streams? No. I've talked about the several other income streams I have in prior videos. However, I have 3 primary income streams that generate this 200k income. The other income streams are inconsistent and do not generate the bulk of my income. So, what are these 3 main income streams? They are 2 jobs and rental income. Now, in this sort of context, rental income is disputed because you cannot receive rental income without forking out a lot of money on an investment property, which makes sense. It's the same way someone who runs a high turnover business that generates $300,000 a year in revenue. It sounds pretty good, but when you factor in the fact that their business costs them $250,000 a year to run, they only really end up with 50 grand per year. Doesn't sound so impressive after this. It's the same thing with rental income in many cases. If you make around 30k a year in rental income from your property, but it costs you 45k a year in mortgage repayments, bills, taxes, etc., yeah, you're earning revenue from this investment, but you're not profiting. At a job, you're profiting since it's extremely unlikely it'll cost you more to hold that job than what you earn. Example, if you make $130 for a shift at work, I doubt you're spending more than $130 on commute costs and whatnot involved with getting to work. Whereas with something like a business or rent, you can end up financially in the hole. So with that said, why have I included rental income as part of my main 3 income streams? The answer is simple, because this rental income stems from my house, the house that I live in, the house that I own regardless of rental income or not, the house I live in, whether or not the spare bedrooms are being rented out or not. It's not like this is some investment property I purchased that's costing me 45k a year, but I receive 30k in rent from that. I'm technically earning 30k a year from this, but I'm really losing 15k a year. That's why I said at the start of this video that this income stream was entirely possible at 28, but won't be enacted until 29. At the time of writing this script, I am 28 living in my house, but I am currently not renting out my rooms since I have other stuff to sort out first, but I could easily rent out rooms right now. I just want to give the vetting process the time it deserves. I could always just get random people in my house next week, but I'm thinking more long-term for this one, hence why it's not currently rented out. So then if I don't have it rented out, how can I make a video on this? Because I've already ran the numbers. I know exactly what rental income I can receive and the tax benefits associated with renting out a portion of my house. Doing this does negate other tax benefits like part of the main residence exemption, but why would I ever sell this house? If you knew the situation, you'd know there's literally 0 point in ever selling this house. Its location is fantastic and the house is plenty big enough. Literally no reason to ever sell. Worst case, if you want to move, just rent it out. Simple. So that's why I have included rent as part of my 3 main income streams, because I'd still own and live in my house with or without this rental income, versus an investment property that I would only have for the purpose of receiving more rental income and holding it for capital growth, and all the other stuff involved with an investment property versus your actual house that you live in. Now, as for my 2 job income streams, they are as an accountant, my office job, full-time, and at a supermarket, my part-time job that slots around my office hours. I work 38 paid hours at the office per week and around 20.5 to 28-ish paid hours at the supermarket. It really depends, which I'll explain later. So these are the stats for my office job in terms of pay. Net weekly is what I earn after taxes are taken out, gross is what I earn before tax, and total includes the retirement funding that the employment jobs pay for. The annual amount is just the weekly amount times 52. except for the total annually amount, since that includes a few fringe benefits related to my office job. It's not much, but it's still financial benefits associated with my job. Now, that's the finances from the office job. 90,000-ish of my $200,000 income comes from my office job. Now for my second job. As I said earlier, the hours vary. So here's what it looks like assuming I work 28.5 hours per week, which works out to be like 27.5 paid hours, till my shifts have a half-hour unpaid break. So, as per the office calculations, we have after tax, before tax, and including retirement fund benefits. And the total annual includes benefits from the supermarket gig like staff discounts, which isn't much, but it's something. So as we can see here, if I work around 28.5 hours, that totals about $58,000 a year from this job, totaling almost $149,000 per year from my two jobs alone. Not bad, but still quite far from the $200,000 listed in the video title. Now this leaves rental income to cover the gap, but based off market rates, I can get $620 a week, which totals $32,240 a year, which is still not quite the $50,000-ish required to cover the gap. So how do I make $200,000 in total? Well, there's tax benefits associated with having part of your house used as an investment, and based off building depreciation, the interest portion of my mortgage, insurances, and everything else, that totals about $18,934.76 based off rough calculations. It's so high because I've run numbers based using my... The reason it's so high is because I've run numbers based off using most of my house as an investment. So, including these tax benefits, there is about $51,174.76 of financial benefits to my house. Tallying that into my calculations, there's a total of $200,000 in stable income. Now, there's obviously some accounting manipulation involved with these figures. I don't end up with $200,000 in my bank account every year, but even if this all came from a job, there'd obviously be taxes I'd pay. But that's why I earn $200,000 a year between these three income streams. So is this guaranteed? I mentioned my other income streams are inconsistent, which is why I haven't included them in this calculation. I haven't even received rental income yet, and yet I've jumped the gun and made a video based off of assumptions. Well, yes, the rental income amounts are very standard for the region I live in, and I've also provided furnishment like queen-size beds, TVs in the rooms, and I have included utilities into this amount. So if other houses around the area are of lesser quality, unfurnished, and not including utilities can command $200 for a room, then I absolutely can. And the tax benefits are also basically guaranteed since I know how the tax system works. Maybe the figures are a bit off, but I can also do the extra public holiday shifts, and maybe I get more in staff discounts from the second job than what I calculated. So maybe the figures are on the lower end for the second job, but overstated in the real estate part. I don't know. We'll only find out once we have a full year of these three income streams. So the real estate figures are pretty set. The office job is pretty set since I'm on a salary, but what about the second job? I said earlier that I work between 20.5 and 28 hours. Why is there such a wide margin? Well, not all of these hours are guaranteed. I am guaranteed 17 paid hours, 18 total hours on the weekends, but my weeknight shifts are not set in stone. However, I'm guaranteed to get at least one, and very often there's been two, and I can secure a third if I really try. However, the third possible shift is genuinely a pain in the ass to do, but it's possible to secure this if I want. However, there gets to a point where the money is almost not worth it. Yeah, an easy $100-ish after tax for a shift is nice, but when you've recently moved into a new house and you could be exploring your neighborhood a bit or grinding on a side hustle, albeit it doesn't pay that much, it's still enjoyable. I could be out on the dating market, which I haven't been involved in for like 5 years, or I could be hanging out with my family or friends or doing an extra gym session, sourcing more stocks, starting a new business. Sometimes it's just not worth it. I generally prefer picking up an easy $100 over a gym session, for example, and I'd never cancel a social event for work, but if I could slot time in my calendar, I'd prioritize work over hanging out. But sometimes it's just nice finishing work at the office and then not having to go drive to your second job at night. So if I work 3 nights at 3.5 hours, what you're seeing here is my total income, which is what we went over before. Sometimes the shifts are 4 hours, sometimes 5, but you can get at least 3.5 hours. Obviously, if the shifts are longer, the money goes up. But what if I do 2 shifts at 3.5 hours instead of 3? Well, that reduces my total income annually to $193,000. Still high, but it doesn't hit that milestone. And if I only do one 3.5-hour extra shift per week, that reduces my total income to $186,000. Again, still high, but that extra 14 grand starts to show when you consider these calculations. Now, I said that I have other income streams. How much do I make from those? Well, I don't know. Like I said, it's not consistent, and some aren't even up and running yet, but they're well and truly underway. For example, 2 of my many income streams are AdSense and stock trading. How much do I make from AdSense? I never know, and it's generally fuck all. I've yapped about it in prior videos, but you literally get paid more for like an hour of stacking shelves at Wagey Job versus an entire month of making content. And for swing trading, I don't know how much I'll make. I don't even know when my next trade will be. And although I've done pretty well lately, as mentioned in a prior video, it's not certain, and you can lose money on this. Whereas you can't really lose money by going to work or renting out rooms and using tax advantages for your own house. You can lose money with real estate, as I said before, with investment properties. Like that example before, if you make $30K in rent, but it costs you $45K, you're losing money, but people will cop that loss because the house goes way up in value. But if your house doesn't go up in value, you're just burning money each year. But in my case, I live in the house. I'd be paying for this regardless of whether I rent out rooms or take advantage of the tax code or not. So there's no way to lose money in my case by renting out rooms. Unless maybe your tenant trashes the place, which, yes, is a risk, but we can apply that same logic to work. Maybe I accidentally injure someone at work and now I get sued and lose a lot of money. In that case, I would have been better off financially by staying at home. So my other income streams are either too inconsistent to budget for, or they're not even up and running yet. Now, I also said earlier that sometimes I just want to not go to my second job after working my first, which I'm sure most people can relate to. But if I have all of these income streams, most of which I actually enjoy working on, why don't I work less at the second job to work on these? Well, simple. My other income streams aren't guaranteed money, and even when they are, they often don't pay as well. Example, if I invest $1,000 into a stock that goes up 10% in a month, which is a pretty good return for 1 month, then I sell out of that, I've made $100 in profit in 1 month. Well, guess what? I can make more than $100 in a few hours one weeknight after work. If I stay home looking at the charts, even if I find the golden setup, it takes a while to actually pay off. And no, I don't day trade. I live in Australia, so the New York Stock Exchange is open during my sleep hours. And even with the day trading, by the time you identify a trend, it tends to reverse. Basically, there's not enough of a time frame to be certain where the stock is headed. Whereas swing trading over days and weeks, even months, you never catch the bottom or the top, but you can be pretty certain of where the stock market is headed. Meanwhile, YouTube might pay somewhere between $10 to $20 for an entire month. Even if I ditched my Wagey Job shifts to grind out extra videos, they'd maybe generate an additional $5 in ad revenue. Yes, I do enjoy making videos, but I also enjoy having video game nights with my family. And no, I don't stream it since we play in a lounge room and hang out together on old gaming consoles. Instead of spending 5 nights making YouTube videos that could make me like $10, I could work one of those nights at Wagey Job and spend those other 4 nights bumming around with my family, and I'd be financially better off. I suppose I should address the title of the video of how I was able to build these income streams up. So first, my accounting job went down the traditional career path of go to uni, find an entry-level job, keep working and you get raises, or jump jobs for a raise. There's obviously a bit more to it than that, but this video isn't a how I got into accounting career 101, but I have made a lot of career-related videos in the past. Just know, if you're going to go to uni, pick a degree that the job market actually has demand for. You're going to have to do unpaid work for the sake of experience for your resume, and you're probably going to be earning chump change early on. Study what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, because you'll be unemployed, because the real world doesn't give a shit about what you want to do for a living. You have to do what the economy has demand for. Next income stream, Wagey Job. I had 4 jobs prior to applying at the supermarket, and I was 15 when I applied. So I had experience and I was cheap. So it was a no-brainer for Wagey Job to hire me. And I just simply held onto this job ever since. And people leave the supermarket job over time, so more hours become available to you. Since when people leave, they don't hire someone straight away to replace them. They have to wait for like a certain amount of people to leave before they can hire new ones. It's like the way the company works, right? So when someone leaves, that's just more opportunities for the existing staff. And as for rental income, I got the house by saving up a huge down payment thanks to working a lot and not splurging my money, and being able to get a loan from the bank for my house, which I was only able to get due to having 2 jobs. I've talked about this more in depth in prior videos, but I was only able to get a house of this size due to the huge savings and ability to borrow more money thanks to the second job. And having a larger house means more rental income, so my 2 jobs flowed onto being able to create this third income stream of rental income. So that's my 3 primary income streams and how they equate to 200 grand a year. Well, they can equate to 200 grand a year. Whether I want to work that much a wage job really depends. I probably don't. But in due time, when I switch jobs, I'll receive a raise for my full-time job, which would obviously bump up the pay from that job to a income amount that is a lot higher than it currently is. And even then, there's also rental increases in the future since Australia's housing and rental situation is not getting any better. So we're at 200-ish K for now, but it'll definitely go up in the future. What are your main income streams, and what do they earn you in a year? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, that is all.